Hi, I'm Meredith Vieira, and today on Lives we're talking about weight loss. It is everyone's favorite topic at the beginning of the new year, with most of us making some sort of resolution to lose weight and improve our health. We are a nation of dieters. The latest stats show that more than 108 million Americans make between 4 and 5 dieting attempts per year. That is a lot of dieting going on, but we are all still one of the most obese countries in the world. According to recent data from the Centers for Disease Control, 35.7% of adults and 17% of children under the age of 19 are obese in America. When you take those numbers and then look at the amount of money that the weight loss industry is raking in, upwards of $66 billion in 2013, well, something is just not adding up. We have plenty of nutritional information, a seemingly endless supply of diets, diet centers, supplements, and even tech gadgets at our disposal. Ultimately, we are an obese nation obsessed with weight loss, and we can't lose weight. Now, I totally relate to this struggle. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do this Google Hangout, because I was a very chubby kid. I was always like 10 to 15 pounds overweight. I went on a lot of diets. I'm not kidding you. When I was going from 8th grade to 9th grade for that full summer, my diet every day was 20 Ritz crackers at 15 calories a cracker. I remember to this day, as much tab as I wanted, and an apple. And I would sit at the table at night and I'd push my food around the plate. And that's how obsessed I was. I'm actually shocked that I didn't become anorexic. But it's always been on my head. I've always thought of myself as somebody who has real issues with weight and also real issues with that word diet. It almost has become a 4-letter word to me, and maybe to some of you as well. So is dieting causing the problem? Are there any diets that actually work? I've called together some of the best minds in nutrition and health to have an open and honest discussion about America's obsession with weight loss and to help all of us sift through the diet clutter and reach the goals that we are setting for ourselves. First, let me introduce Joy Bauer, whom many of you know from the Today Show and AOL. Joy is an MS registered dietitian and a health expert. She's also a friend, a colleague, and of course, the force behind the Joy Fit Club, where she celebrates people who've lost over 100 pounds. Thanks for joining us, Joy.
Hey, Meredith, thanks for having me.
Thank you. We also have Dr. Richard Besser, ABC News Chief Health and Medical Editor. I was kidding Dr. Besser when I was working at the Today Show. We were so bummed when he went over to ABC. He's that great. He headed up the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. He's also the author of Tell Me the Truth, Doctor, Easy to Understand Answers to Your Most Confusing and Critical Health Questions. Welcome to you, Dr. Besser.
Thanks for having me.
And finally, we have my buddy and my nutritionist. I've worked with her in the past, Melissa Bowman. Melissa is also an MS and a registered dietitian. She hails from Chicago, where she runs her own health and fitness brand, Physio Life Method. She's helped me to get my weight under control and also trained me for my first and so far my only marathon, the New York City Marathon, and ran it with me. So thank you, Melissa, for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
There's so much to get to. Dr. Besser, I want to start with you.
Yeah.
According to the statistics, 2/3 of Americans are either overweight or obese. First, explain the difference between the two. At what point do you go from overweight to obesity?
Yeah, you know, if you look at the most commonly used measures for weight, it's the body mass index or the BMI. And that's a measure that looks at your weight and your height and combines them. Because, you know, my weight of around 200 pounds on me is appropriate. On someone who was 6 inches shorter, it would mean that they would be overweight. Mm-hmm. So if you look at your BMI, a BMI below 25 is considered normal weight. 25 to under 30 is considered overweight, and above 30 is considered obese. It tends to reflect or go along with how much fat you have, but it's not a perfect measure. You know, some of the most finely trained athletes, because they have so much muscle, will actually have a high BMI, which may say they're obese, but you can look at them and you know that they're not.
So the only way to determine that is to go see your doctor and have that?
No, it's really easy. They're calculators. If you go online and search BMI calculator, you just put in your height, you put in your weight, it will give you a number, it will give you a chart. Your doctor, your nutritionist can help you interpret that if there's any doubt about that.
Do you think that people are beginning to accept a body image that is larger? Is that part of the problem that we're seeing?
Well, you know, I'm a pediatrician, and I see both ends of the spectrum. I see some people who are very weight obsessed to the point where it's not healthy. You know, anorexia, bulimia, I worry about that very much in young girls and then as they age in particular. But I also see an acceptance of weights that are not healthy. And so it's one of those questions I always ask is how do you feel about your weight? And looking for that balance of is this someone who really has a mental picture and a body image of a healthy weight?
You're shaking your head, Joanne.
You know what, I see that a lot now because what's happening is we're getting heavier and heavier and heavier. So people who are 20 pounds overweight think that they're at a normal weight now. So this is a big problem.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. There are times where you really have to adjust someone's interpretation of their weight, and some people like to have those extra pounds, and you have to talk about, well, here's what that may mean in terms of your risk of health problems
Right.
as you get older.
I'll tell you something interesting. On the show, on the Today Show, I had this contest, 3 women, overweight women against 3 overweight women, and we had all of these fun things, and we were helping them get to a normal BMI level. Well, they were people that needed to lose about 40, 50 pounds. And I got so much viewer email from viewers who were out there who were significantly more overweight saying, what are you doing? These are people who don't need to lose weight. So I think that unfortunately it is warped out there, and that's when the BMI comes in handy because you can look up your hard numbers and then determine concretely whether or not you have to lose weight.
And I also use, in my office, I do body composition with body fat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have somebody kind of like that,
You can say, oh, this is how much, fat you have on or what percentage, and that's really important, and that kind of makes people think, okay, maybe I am overweight or overfat.
But I think some people feel, well, maybe I am carrying this extra weight, but I feel good. I feel healthy.
Well, it's one of those questions that I'm asked a lot. Can you be fat but fit?
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at fat and you look at fit, they're measuring different things. Medically, when you think about fit, can your heart meet your body's needs?
Right.
And you can be there, but those extra pounds carry risk.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone who is overweight or obese is going to have diabetes or heart disease or problem with their joints, but their risk of having them goes way up.
Right.
And the older
also-
you get, the more likely that you'll have
And
problems.
voluptuous and, larger boned is very different from being fat.
Yeah.